Now presenting
the RK Ultra Podcast,
Expanding Your Minds.
whether you want it or not.
Today on RK Ultra, we're going to dive deep into the gritty life of what it's like to be a carny. You know, your local carnival worker. RJ, do you know any carnies?
Yeah, I know a few.
Yeah.
They're some of the most interesting people you get to interact with.
And today, we have someone who survived that life and made it to be with us to talk about it. Steven, how you doing?
Not too bad, man.
Good to have you back on. We all know Steven from the, Hot Chip Challenge?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Taldi.
Oh, I'm here too.
Look, there he is.
Superstar.
He's
One day.
back.
As always, sitting in the corner.
So, Steven, can you define like what a carny is?
Well, there's kind of different categories of being a carny. There's like kind of what's super carnies, which they run rides and games, which is kind of super carnies kind of derogatory.
Really?
Yeah, and there's foodies who sell all the food and stuff in different carnivals, and there's showmen, which is technically what I was, where we do sales.
Tyler, what would you do? What would be your classification?
I sell cigarettes to minors.
That's your side hustle.
Yep.
What's your carny classification?
Oh.
See, I would go with super carny. I'd be drunk, controlling rides.
I'd see the name of it and think it's way better than what it is. I'd end up being stuck as a super con.
You'd be what's referred to as a greenhorn, where we use you for manual labor and then get rid of you.
Just pet the llamas all day.
That sounds
Steven,
bad.
what were you doing?
So I did sales. I sold leather goods.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's called a showman because you have to put on kind of a persona. So
Okay.
you tend to change the way you dress and change the way you talk.
Hell
And,
yeah.
Like you tend to wear a lot of your own products, so it's easier to sell.
Okay, so I'm an idiot. I'm a country dimwit, and I'm moseying up to your booth. How would you like?
Well, the best way to do it is like I tended to kind of watch whatever you looked at too long, whatever. If you were having a conversation, I eavesdropped on what you were talking about. But like my specialty was like belts, belt buckles, hats, stuff like that. So I'd walk up and like, hey, how about a handcrafted, custom cut to fit, solid piece of leather belt? It's the only thing you can buy around here that lasts longer than a funnel cake.
That's what I
And
want.
like all you have to do is make
shit!
people
That
laugh.
oh my god, that
Yeah.
did it.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
That did it.
once you start playing around with leather and stuff, leather sells itself, so it's super easy to sell. So you just charisma, talk a bunch of BS, make up fake stuff.
I love it.
I see. So it's almost like swindling, but I mean, if they're dumb enough to fall for it, then
The only difference is like, so the carnies, they were just straight taking your money. Like you're winning a 5-cent teddy bear.
Oh, yeah,
that
if
probably
that.
is infested with bugs or something.
Ooh.
And whereas when you came and saw us, you were actually getting a product. You were actually getting a belt or a hat, something you'd actually use multiple times. So.
yeah.
So
no.
like, are there career carnies, or do like people stay in this for their entire lives?
Oh yeah, like the people I used to work for, they had been doing it for generations. Their grandparents started it, and then their parents went into it. Like there's a union for it. It's called the Showmen's Union, to where there's not really a retirement plan for this. So if you're part of the union, if you get stuck anywhere in the country, they'll come get you. They have a retirement village.
Oh my god.
There's actually a village here in Florida where they actually have former sideshow actor or like freak shows and carny workers and stuff where they actually have a place to live and they don't have to be like, because you're kind of ostracized wherever you go in that like environment because it's kind of got a bad reputation. It's a rough life. So it tends to attract kind of a certain type of person.
How many freaks have you known?
I've met a few. I got an offer to join the freak show one time, and yeah, I got an offer to join the freak show and a circus as a strongman at one point.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I figured I had already gone as far as carny work, so
Yeah,
I didn't want to go
right.
any further.
I don't want to
Coming back.
Yeah.
not going down further down
Yeah,
this rabbit
you
hole.
can only do so much. I mean,
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Wow. So what would you say are like the best states to be a carny? Like you guys travel around, so like what are some of the best states to to carnalize?
Well, it kind of depends on what you're doing. Because we tended to stay to the East Coast. So I'd go from Florida to Indiana, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, all up in that area. So it just kind of depends on what you're selling, because the carny world, everybody has different routes. So you tend to see the same people, but like just kind of different areas.
Okay.
So like the biggest sales we always did was like Indiana, because it's a massive fair. So it lasts 28 days. And
Oh my God.
Basically a city within a city.
What are the carny parties like in an Indiana fucking carnival?
They're a little more strict.
Really?
They tend to keep a kind of a watchful eye, because
That's where the good money's at.
Yeah.
So don't fuck it up.
plus
Yeah.
that type of one, people wait all year long, save their money to bring their whole family there. So
Which ones are the gritty ones then? Like,
Tampa.
No surprise there.
yeah, a Tampa carnival.
Tampa, Florida was kind of rough, and then that was the first time one of our guys had gotten drunk and passed out behind our tent and slept in his own throw up all day from the night before.
That's an attraction.
Oh, yeah.
It's
$5.
It tends to have you.
you got to see it behind the curtain.
Yeah, late at night you tend to there's a lot of drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and in carny lots, there's a lot of other stuff going through too.
But they don't use illicit substances, do they?
I mean, once or twice maybe, allegedly.
Allegedly. Are there anything mystical about being a carny? Like, are any rituals or traditions or?
There's a lot of traditions. There's if you're in it for a long time. I was actually telling him this on the way here. My old boss, he used to have there's a thing called an archie, which in the carny world, most things are held together with an archie. It's a little piece of metal that goes into joints. And after he had been doing it, his family's generations and stuff, he was presented with a golden archie, which is kind of a status symbol in there. God. And there's all
what do you do with it? Like,
yeah, I mean, he just had it on a necklace. He
Ceremonial.
hardly ever wore it, yeah. But it was kind of one of those things where if people had been in it for a long time and they saw it, they kind of knew he was somebody who was legitimately in this for a life.
Better.
Yeah. There's other stuff there's a thing called carny marriage, whereas it's normally for people who are on the same crew. So you take a male and a female and you go on the Ferris wheel, and you're kind of stuck together for the rest of the season, and it's called carny marriage.
you are legally carny binded.
Basically, kind of everybody kind of just okay, you two are together for the whole season.
What if you get on the carnival on the Ferris wheel with another man? Like,
I mean, it's kind of a rough environment. There wasn't a lot of that, but there was. So I mean,
I would have
it kind of depends.
You just get drunk one night accidentally, and then you accidentally get in the car with an accidental man.
I mean, we did have a guy that almost happened to. Yeah, we kept having to tell him to stop going off alone with the other guy and stuff.
Oh,
There
no.
was some old rumors, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sir, but what about the dick in your mouth?
That's not enough proof.
Yeah. So I'm sure you know how to beat all the rigged games, right?
A lot of them, yeah. I would sit there most days, on a slow day and stuff, and just kind of watch them and talk to them. Those guys, there's a trick to everything, and a lot of it, I use them for my sales techniques because they're the best people at keeping people there spending money.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of those games, if you pay attention, there's easy ways to beat them.
What about those fucking clowns in the dunk tank?
So one of the funniest ones ever, one of our guys, his brother owns his own dunk tank, and he sounds like Violent J from ICP, and he is the most vicious person I've ever seen insulting people. And honestly, outside of there, he's actually really chill, but when he gets in the dunk tank, he is just the most vulgar guy ever, and it's hilarious watching him get dunked.
Yeah. They're he would just attack.
Oh, he would
them personally.
He would have somebody standing there for an hour, spending every last cent they had, just trying to dunk him while he insulted.
Kill me, pussy!
Yeah, he basically he would insult you to the core, make you question your life choices.
You
It was
could
great.
just see the thing that bothered you.
Yeah, any imperfection or insecurity, he would just dominate you.
Taldi, I think you'd
hilarious.
probably be good at that.
After the first dunk, I'd just be pissy and bitching the whole time.
I mean, that works.
You just be like sitting there hitting your vape, and people would be like, "Look at that fucking guy, dude! I'm gonna go,
Take it from me.
I'm gonna go dunk him."
Yeah, no, he would be like dunked every time. They would finally get.
It doesn't even hit the mark.
You just got by a ball.
I think people would suddenly get good aim if we did that.
Be depressed dunking yourself.
Are those super carnies?
Yeah, those are more like super carnies.
Okay,
where
yeah.
They're doing games or rides and stuff like
The
that.
good
yeah.
swindling.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Those are the ones that really take your money.
Do you guys like maintain the rides?
No, that's super carnies.
Oh, okay.
Which most of those that's all done by groups from either Mexico or South
America?
not South America, South Africa.
Oh.
Which the entire cruise will be made up of like nothing but them, and they're actually some of the hardest working people I've ever seen. They will tear down a Ferris wheel in like 2 hours.
Dude, I've always wondered like how
Seriously.
how that whole thing works.
I see the drunk methed out dude operating my tilt-a-whirl. And I'm like, surely that's not the guy who put this together.
I
right?
mean, he probably did until he lost the arm, but yeah,
He's got paps in one of his arms.
they have entire crews that fly people overseas and just to do that for an entire season and then head back home.
Probably make some good money.
Oh
doing
yeah, you
that.
make pretty good money.
Wow. Do you have any carny horror stories?
Well, I was thinking about this because it kind of depends. There's some. So back
How
in,
fucked up do you want it?
Yeah.
Depends on what you find horrible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some. It used to be a lot rougher. Unfortunately, that industry's kind of dying. There's not a lot of like call for it nowadays.
What?
Yeah. So, but back in the day, it was really, really rough. Like people would just beat their crews. Like my old boss carried around a piece of like extension cord, so whenever the guys messed up, he'd just start beating them.
Yeah.
Like I've heard stories about like people setting up in your spot and you driving a rig through their entire livelihood, basically. Or like there's a bunch of messed up stuff that's happened over the years. There's a reason that like a lot of places they go to that they're not fans of carnies. Like they've done some messed up stuff. So.
Wow. What was your favorite part?
The travel. I grew up traveling around a lot, so like actually kind of getting that kind of inner gypsy where you get to travel around, meet new people, and just kind of see through new things and experience new things.
I'm sure you made a lot of friends.
I mean, people tended to know who I was. Yeah, like it's kind of like working in the bar industry where everybody walks up and like, "Hey, Kevin." It's like, "Hey, fella."
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
I
don't
kind of
remember you at
vaguely
all,
remember
but
you.
yeah.
But I mean,
You went on the Ferris wheel with that man.
But it was mainly the travel and getting to see like kind of new things and stuff. And like I got to go to Salem, Massachusetts, fell in love with that, and just different places I got to see. I mean, there was always some rough ones, but that was my favorite part. Plus, it was really, really good money if you had no soul.
Yeah, I don't know. I might take a sabbatical and go on do some carnying of my own for a year.
I mean,
Just go find myself.
learn
you know,
something.
There you go.
thinking about it.
And the worst thing I ever did was I sold a leather whip to a kid with Down syndrome one time.
No, he needed that.
And like I kind of felt a little bad about that, but he was really, really
Who
happy.
else needs it more?
Dude, you made that kid's fucking childhood.
He couldn't get any more corn dogs that day, but I mean, he
That
just had
kid
a
will
leather
never
whip.
see John Cena.
He doesn't need them, dude. He can just fucking.
Yeah, he's got a whip. He can take those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of that type of life. You kind of have to like get rid of any conscience in order to be actually successful at it. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I was pretty good at that for a while. So
Hey, it did. At least it was kind of fun.
yeah, I mean, there are fun times. I mean, it's super stressful and
Yeah.
it's a hard life because
Learn a lot about hard work.
Yeah, you're constantly traveling. I mean, tearing down and setting up in a different spot. It's a lot that goes into it. So I mean, but once you get the hang of it and stuff, and as long as you're not like lazy, you can actually be pretty successful at it.
No.
Even if you're lazy, you can be successful.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. Then I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is going to conclude today's episode of RK Ultra. Thank you, Steven, for coming by and talking to us.
Shit.
Hey, Tully, how you doing?
Glad I came.
Yeah. So, in the comments below, tell us about your favorite fair moments. You ever, I don't know, have to put down a carny.
Isn't there a difference between fairs and carnivals, Kevin?
Yeah. No. Well, not.
Kind of.
Ish.
Well, fairs are smaller.
I mean, fairs are still run by carnies.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the
Well,
same
then,
thing.
boom.
Yeah.
Same crack, different spoon.
You can follow us on X and Instagram at RKUltraCast or on Rumble at RKUltra.
Or find us at www.rkultra.com.
So follow us because we'll be following you. Straight to the carnival.
Straight to the Ferris wheel. You know what I'm saying.
Find crackhead Dale in the back.
Fuck yeah, dude. Crackhead Dale is the hardest working motherfucker in this carnival.
He held up this industry.
He doesn't eat.
Doesn't clock in, doesn't sleep.
You just give him a half a case of beer and remind him of his 6 fingers he lost.
He's learned how to fucking synthesize beer into pure
He
nutrients.
actually owns the place. He just decides to still be a crackhead. He's a millionaire, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm asleep in the porta potty the other day, but he kept saying, "Get out of my office."
Yeah. That's a nice ass porta potty though.
We have to keep kicking him out for snorting off the porta potty seats, but
Ah.
he keeps coming back and we love him.
Hey, you gotta do what you love.
Drugs.